weekly Dama news. Here we are, 6 minutes late into it, but hey, we're here. We're talking Dama, we're playing Dama, we are eating Dama, we're sleeping Dama, especially if you're in the Chrome team. Maybe you are actually eating Damas. What's up? We're going to be talking about what has been happening within the past week of Dama, this sphere of this wooden cup and ball that we actually all love for some weird, odd reason, because we're just stuck. We're addicted to kendama. For better or for worse? For mostly, I think, better. I don't know if there's like a worse that can come out of it. Once we get to like an episode of Hoarders where there's someone whose life is just dissolving in front of their eyes, relationships getting burned back here and there, I think we're all good, right? To be able to just enjoy kendama, the hoarding, the positive aspects of it, I think, are what make it so great. Not just level up and play, but that whole connection thing. Sorry for the lateness. Had a few things that came up unannounced. All, happens. Everyone who's got a family and trying to do things here and there. Work life balance. It's hard to balance. It's work life, hobbies, family, work. It's all like trying to master the border balance, or even further than that, the solar flare. Okay, this is something that could possibly be a lot easier now with a certain item coming to shelves near you very soon. Maybe not shelves, they're definitely not. It's all online ordering. I'm rambling. Let's pull up the saved posts that we have for this week. Of course, everyone, April Fools happened this past Saturday. There's lots of stuff that, actually, before we get into that, hey, question, tool, right down there, everyone. We're going to do Q&A at the end of this jam, and I'll be answering some of your questions to the best of my knowledge. So hit me up right down there, and you can do 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. Fill it up. Okay. So April Fools happened. Something everyone was excited for, because as these past years have gone by, the kendama companies have been putting a lot of more effort into creating something fun for everyone to enjoy, to get spoofed off of, and to get weirded out with, maybe. To get the rug pulled from under them. And I'm excited to say that this year, was very similar, where we saw a few items be shown on posts. If it's an actual, what the hell was that? If it was an actual picture, or if it is an actual product. Now, the product ones are the ones that really kind of push what kendama can be, because it's a time for people to be like, oh, let's create something wacky and weird for April Fools. So weird that people are going to be like, what's that weird ass? Like, fake, no way, that's not cool. But actually, in turn, could this be the kind of push that turns into something that is norm, actually, Example, let's jump right into it. Serial Kendama releasing the 4.1. Now, Elko Kendama, go to his YouTube channel, Elijah's YouTube channel, watch the unboxing. It's like a 5-minute unboxing of him just being amazed at double big cup. And this is something actually you look at. And for the non-OG player, you're probably looking at it and be like, oh, that's cool. Like, why didn't they do this earlier? This maybe doesn't even have to be a April Fool's prank Dama. It could be a real thing that just continues with all the companies creating so many different varieties of kendamas. It's like cars, yeah? There's the entry level, or cameras, anything. There's, entry level stuff, mid-range, and then high-end. And then sometimes there's the wacky ones. Hybrid cars were the wacky ones for a while, and now, hey, electric cars are coming in. That's going to become the norm. We want to save our planet. And that might be the case for double big cup. Now, the Loon, if anyone out there remembers Loon Attack, give me some love in the comments. The Loon was a kendama, the first probably of its kind, that, no joke, was like, hey, this Ken has 2 big cups. Enjoy. And their whole, if you hear their name, Loon Attack, it was a type of like putty that you could adhesively add to, am I using that word correctly? You can adhere to different areas of your kens to add weight in certain places. So you'd probably want to add weight like maybe on the base cup to do slings. You want to add more weight, this putty, to like the inside of the big cup, possibly. I think that's where they were putting it, to hone in on your lunars to get that sarado weight heavier. Now let's make a kendama that is the best for lunars, because that's what everyone's chasing, everyone wants. And it's not such a difficult chase to get there, but, you know, adding into the different variations of tricks on top of just landing a lunar, you know, that definitely kicks off how difficult it can be. But the thing is, like, it was a Dama, it was a Ken, and people were making fun of it. This version, to create it during April Fools, could be a time where you see, okay, yeah, it's an April Fool's joke, but then, wait, you ready? You guys, you see where I'm going? Then what's going to happen is people are going to actually get it. People are going to enjoy it. And then people are going to be like, we should have been doing this all along. Yeah? We've gone from tiny 2014 sized cups into what we know of now. Deep dish cups? What is it called? Aren't they called deep dish? What were those Tostitos, those Dorito that were like scoops? Were they called scoops? Maybe this is a new kind of tech we're heading into where everything's just scooped. Why don't we just add big cups all around? I mean, on the base cup, maybe, you know, there might be a limit, but we can at least try it. So, cereal? Does anyone out there, are you guys picking this up? It's an actual kendama, ready right now. They produced it. Unlike sweets, where it's like, I think sweets, you know, is definitely on the safer side of the whole thing because it makes sense. You don't want to make this wacky kendama and then have nobody buy it. So it's pre-sale. Here's this. We show you what it can do. We show you what it is. Get it if you'd like. Of course, there was a little hype to it before we actually saw what it was. But cereal is just straight up saying, we have a kendama that's an April Fool's thing, but it's actually a real thing. Double big cup. They should also, I mean, I think this is a kind of prank, not prank, but a joke idea that I had in the past of Weekly Dama News, where cereal should have a kind of like sponge. You know when you get those like those stick glue sponge things that has a sponge on the end so you can apply it to like envelopes? You get that, but fill it up with like kind of like sugar water or some shit, and you can use that inside the bevel. So later on when you lick it, it's like, oh, what is that? Fruit Loops? Oh, is that Lucky Charms? Oh my gosh. So adding that to it, you know, you can see it. Oh, here we go. News happening right in the chat. Boston Coming Scarce says they just released a double big cup Damas at Battle at the Border. Turn by quad. Double big cup. See, and that's what like is very interesting, and that's why like, you know, people hating on, which I guess I don't think there's many people hating on like the young kids like doing what they're doing, or just the young people coming into kendama. All right, now I'm definitely, I could meet you. Some people will be like, hey MJ, you do that shit too. Okay, I see. But it is cool that these people are doing these things because the olds are not thinking innovatively where the youngs are. And then that could actually in turn push the olds to actually do something different and have big weight to it. So example, like cereal kendama, so I feel like, yeah, it's like if it's a younger company coming into the scene and trying something new, and that's how Lunatak was. Even though they were like making something, they were there for a little bit, they were still ridiculed a lot when the Loon came out. And people were like, whatever, it's like kind of like a joke. But they didn't have it as a joke. But if you're doing it as a big company, example, Crom. When Crom did the what was it? The black hole? You guys remember that? They had the warp hole, I think, which is they call their booty hole. They call it warp hole, technically, trademarked. Then they came out with the black hole, which was massive, right? I think there was like 0 slip ring too. People bought it. It's like this could be a new type of Ken or kendama in this branch of stylings, right? And same with double big cup. Will it fit in the box? You know, I think we're all taught to think outside of the box, but here we are trying to figure out to stay within the box again. Interesting. But, you know, when you're doing tests and rules, I guess that's the whole definition of a rule. But I believe this double big cup would fit in the box because from what my memory, if my memory serves me correct, that's the phrase, the small cup wasn't bigger than the other side. Like you didn't have to put it in, oh, right, big cup is on the right, small cup's on the left. The box was just a perfect symmetrical shape of the big cup. So these would work. You could take these into KDTM, possibly destroy. It's a new thing that is brought up just by a wacky prank, something that people do, hunting the Gauk, April Fools. The other one that happens that could be something is, yes, excuse me, sweets. Oh, that's what I was trying to get at when I was talking about Chrome, like how they're a bigger brand, they're a bigger company. They could have taken it and turned it into like a solidified, like this is a new normal Ken shape and possibly pushed other people to do it because that's what happened with big cups, all right? That's what happened with bigger Damas. That's what happened with booty holes, you know, base cup balance holes that Mugen Muso Iwata-san was doing back in 2014 when nobody else was doing it. All right. There are some things that are hit and miss. Example, you know, he had the plastic tip Kens, and that is something that not many people did. There were a few DIY people who were starting to create their own. So there was definitely a small niche of people who went in and like invested a lot of time and effort and thought it was really cool. I think it's pretty cool, but just, I don't know. I guess if you want to do the borders, like that's the only time that you would need a wooden tip. But I guess having something plastic involved into something that's all wood, even though our paint is, you know, plastic, maybe it takes away a little bit. Who knows? I'm not sure. Exactly. Anyways, I need more coffee. Sweets Kendamas is bringing out something. They released it onto the world. Now, I saw the little hint in their announcement, in the text of where it says Dama. You know, you zoomed in and you could see that the bottom of the T, I'm sure any other people who studied graphic design maybe noticed, like, oh, what's that little notch in that T? That T looks, what is that little nipple? I can't zoom in well. Okay, and then we saw that, and what I thought it was like the Dama with, and this gave me an idea to make something like this, a reverse spike. So imagine if the Dama had the spike inside of it, and then the Ken, I guess it would have to be a single body. Yeah, it would have to be a single body and a lot chunkier. And you would spike the Ken. So the hole would be on the Ken. You guys following me? And the spike would be on the Dama. So it would be reversed, you know? Yeah. And then somebody hit me up on the DMs and said, let me shout them out because they were correct. Yeah. Alex Tran. He said, I think I figured it out. That's the spike tightrope honed. And then, okay, I looked at it again. You flip it around and you notice, yeah, that's the spike. Tightrope honed. And there's a little concave in there because it's an actual tiny ass cup. It's a 5th cup. Yeah. Is this going to turn into something that people actually wanted? I've had no, who else? I've had discussions. I don't know who said it. Discussions of people making a kendama where there is almost no spike for those people who just want to like practice borders. Now, we're looking at this. It's not expensive. It's only what, like $30, I think, to pre-order this thing, which isn't bad. It's a natty Dama. It's because you don't need paint. Whatever. But you could technically, if you had the tools or just a lot of time and some sandpaper, a lot of time, you could get rid of your spike that we all know and love because it helps you actually spike the Dama. flatten that sucker out, get a little hacksaw, and put in a little indent in there, a groove, so you can get the string inside. Now, I'm not so sure about that groove. You would have to definitely pull up perfect so that it hits like this, right? I'm sure there's some times where people who can do tight ropes, it hits sideways, just a little bit. So I'm not sure exactly how efficient that's going to be for like learning, I guess, because even like example, you're learning a lighthouse or any balance trick. You first want to just put it on there and then just, okay, bounce it around. Pretend you're in the back of a bus seat and you're back in 8th grade, doing some of this. Okay, you kind of learn where the balance point is. Even with borders, you could like do that. All right, coffee. But with tightrope, you can't do that. You can't, unless you have a homie that just wants to not play kendama while you are and put it on there and let go so you can try to balance it. No way. So you have to get the pull up right. But it's very interesting how they added a little indent in there so it can be an actual cup. So not only honed for possible, if you have a nice Tama, if it's all dinged up like crazy, maybe it won't work so well. But yeah, solar flares are going to be a normal thing. So then, of course, that shit's going to not be easy. I was mentioning on the Hokuto no Ken Tama, there is a little indent in the fingertip, and I have never been able to successfully get it on there. So to have it sitting flat on top of a spike is still going to be a challenge. Think of that, the area that you have to balance that Tama on is still really small. So not going to be easy, but easier than just trying it on your own. Very, very different, very interesting. And again, it could be like, we could just make these just for shits and giggles and have them on the site when people want to buy them. And or just use it as like, hey, this is a kind of kendama for people who want to get better at tight ropes, who want to get that muscle memory down. Like, again, Lunatac had it. I think, was there another company that had it? I remember Lunatac. They were pretty inventive of adding different ways to like kind of train, because you could use, that loon for just seshing, no problem. But it could also be just a really helpful stepping stone. What are they called? Training wheels for learning or getting used to a new kind of trick. So same goes with this. I mean, the Lunatac they had different size bevels. You could get like a different, I think they had 3 different Tamas that you could get, and the bevels were like massive gapers, getting like smaller and smaller to a normal sized Tama hole. But I guess that could work for a little bit, but I still feel like within kendama, there's not so much of a huge arc that you have to overcome to start learning how to like spike and these things. So maybe that's why those didn't go too well. But something super difficult, like a tightrope, like a border balance, like a solar flare, those can be ones that people have been chasing, where this can now help it out a lot. So technically, even though Sweets is like, again, here's our April Fool's product, it could be something that is accepted now because it's a prank joke product. But then at the same time, maybe there is a market for this. Maybe there's people out there who want this kind of Dama to hone in, I think they can just sell Ken onlys to everyone. Maybe there should be a product out there. You guys listening? A Ken out there that is like the beginner Ken. Or maybe not the beginner, but training Ken. Training. So it has, flat spike. So this is like not for the session. This is for a session player, not someone who actually is just getting into kendama. You got to use a normal one, but someone who wants to like kick it up a notch. So then you got big cups, you got flat, indented 5th cup in there. I don't know what else you could do right now, just thinking off the top of my head. But you make a Ken that's specific for the next step. After you plateaued in your skill level, like bam, you want to get to somewhere else. Here, Do it easier on this thing, and then try it out on a normal can. Loon Attack, yeah, the Loon, was that 26? I think, yeah, 2016. I feel like 16, 17, I'm not sure exactly. But it was around that time when we're all still like, what are you doing? The fuzz that, right? And then, hey, let's go back to it. There were a few other April Fool stuffs, right? Where were they? Or you know what? Okay, yeah. I feel like that was the only one that was an actual product. No, there's a few that I'm not so sure about. One example being Kendama Co. Where's Rylan? This looks like a quad-turned Ken. I just say that because of like the really pronounced slip ring. But I mean, anyone who's got Photoshop could definitely just drop a logo and make it look realistic on any kind of Ken. So we don't know exactly, but hey, we do some, oh wait, no, not even. I was going to say we do some detective work and see which is the big cup, which is the small cup. And then, okay, then that would explain of what side it's on. But no, you could just, come on, MJ, you could just turn the Sonado around. Is this real? Is this fake? Is this, it happened coming this summer, the hashtag Uno, please keep playing. We don't know. Another one that was made to be, yes, a fake kind of product, which looks like it's just like some samples that they had, some demo Ken shapes, Locked Studios. They were talking about new stuff coming in the works. They got the new logo, maybe new Kens coming out. What do they call it? The ladle? And, that's just a Chrome Deluxe. That's a Deluxe right there. Or maybe, with that really sharp corner, that's like a Cobra. You guys remember Cobra? For me, and I commented too, I'm like, you guys should, I thought they were salt and pepper shakers. You guys should just make salt and pepper shakers. With the holes being like that, hit up Zach Yord, try to make some ceramic kendamas again. One's salt, one's pepper. And just make them tiny. You don't need them too big. And you got to make them fat though, to make it, fit enough, those spices in there so you can use that shit. So those were the other ones that I saw. Another one was from Wings Ionetter saying, hey, we're going to close our shop. We're giving you, what was it, 50% off. Site-wide sale. Use code April Fools. That was a good one to just at the end to tell everyone, actually, no, it's April Fools. A little message. Everyone's like, what? I didn't know. End of an era? No, they're still cruising. And I thought maybe they were too. It just fell in line because they're talking about the conditioner in 2016 started, and they're going to be stopping that. Maybe they're just going to stop the conditioner side of it. Maybe. So, okay. And the last one, of course, the Crom Cake Pop. Crom was always one in the past who, created like really wacky stuff. I can't remember anything off the top of my head right now besides the black hole. That was an actual product. What was another one? I felt like there was another one that was a product. Any case, this is totally doable. Eating your tama. Okay, you don't want to eat the tamas, but here in Japan, if you go down to Hatsukaichi, if you're so inclined to join the Kendama World Cup, or if you're lucky enough to be a sponsored player that your company sends you over here, that you can find edible kendamas. Now, they're not playable kendamas. You cannot take the tama off of it. And yes, granted, they are about this big, but it is an edible two shells that look like a kendama. It's almost like a sandwich thing. It's komonaka is the ingredients that it's made out of. It's kind of like a cross between flour. It's like a cone for ice cream, like shitty ice cream, like the soft ones you get like frozen section of your supermarket, and that really soft-ish kind of cone. It's like that kind of, but it's a Japanese version. Any case, that is shaped like a kendama, and on the inside there's like anko inside, which is sweet red bean paste, which sounds gross, but it's actually pretty good. So that is an edible kendama. That is still a possibility. Like fondant? I don't know. Maybe. So this is not So just because in their post it does say the world's first edible kendama dropping never April Fools. Okay, I see you, Crump. You know, nice little work on the Photoshop, but there is an actual edible kendama. It's not a playable one, but you can still eat it. And hey, I made a chocolate kendama. I made a chocolate tama once for the Crazy Ken game I did back in the day. Or was it, yeah, JKA? Yeah, that was edible. I did not eat it, but it was certainly edible. Okay, I think that was it for the April Fool's stuff. I don't know if anyone else found something out there that was April Fool's-ish. Maybe you could say this is an April Fool's joke. Soul Kendama is releasing Sue collabs, the third versions, and they sold out so quick that you might feel like, hey, that must have been April Fool's because I missed it. Sad to see, but it was really actually cool to see that Chad hooked up Kendama Senses over in Europe to help out all the Euro homies snag this drop that happens. Because we all know that Sue Lab is like the supreme hype beast of Tamas that is really hard to get. Cool when these collabs happen because not only are they up on the Sue, or are they up on Sue's site? Yeah, they go up on his site. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes his site. Then whoever he's collaborating with, in this case Soul, has it on their site at a time. And then, hey, now Chad took it upon himself to send some over to Europe to give everyone a chance over there. Of course, the small number will probably be going, but still, yes. So you could have felt like that was April Fool's, but it was not. Yes, Brett's analog. I thought I saw that. Did I not save it? Oh no, here it was. It just didn't hit me because there's no picture of a kendama. Analog. Now, I'm not so sure. Oh, 21 hours? Okay, everyone had a decent amount of time to try to scoop that. Analog Kendama is releasing a new shape, mystery drop, April Fool's joke. An April Fool's mystery new shape sheep drops? Shep. The April Fool's jokes have been live for a few hours. This is now a low quality meme page. Send memes? Is that what's that? So old. Send meme to team applications, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what to think about that one. So what is it? I still don't understand. So what's the joke? That they're a meme page now? I still can't say it. Or that they have new stuff that's coming in the works. So they say, when was that last post? March 21st. But hey, we'll see what happens. I guess keep your eyes out for analog, but I'm not so sure if it was actually a April Fool's joke. Not an April Fool's joke. Possibly spring sale. Kusa, 40% off. There you go, guys. That's what I'm saying. We get all excited when new stuff comes out, but sometimes, if you wait half a year, if you can wait that long, hey, they go on sale. So go to Kusa right now. It was at 2 days ago. Spring sale was up 40% off selected items. So you'll probably be able to get a great discount on those tributes. Probably other stuff too. Maybe like some old pills? Possibly? What was this? All right. Another one. This one, okay. This is very interesting. You know, things that happen in the kendama world. A lot of people go out and just share the love in many different ways, teaching people first spikes, just showing off, doing birthday parties. Here's So Canada from Sweets donating, what was it, 80 kendamas? 80 kendamas that will be spread out. He even released a little English version of the post after the Japanese one. It says, I donated 80 kendamas to the local community. These kendamas will be distributed to about 40 facilities used by children. This is probably like Gakudo, which is in Japan. It's like after school program. And that's something that like Sue was able to connect with like a lot of schools in the Saitama area through Gakudo, because they're all looking for like what kind of activities that the kids can do. And this is something that is a popular one, kendama. Through this kendama, I would be happy if you could experience the opportunity to challenge something And if you keep trying, no matter how small, you will eventually come to fruition. It will eventually come to fruition. And it says, thanks to everyone at Sweets Kendamas for the support and cooperation. Really appreciate it. Now, I'm sure, did anyone else think about this? I mean, there might be just B grade Tamas. If you zoomed in, you're like, oh, wait a second. That's a lot of Sapphire mods, isn't it? And what's the blue one? Oh, there's a lot of batch. Look at all the batch 2 in there as well. These were like hot commodity kendamas, right? What are the blue ones? Those are very interesting. Those must be like, yeah, B grade. They look like Fraser mods, but they're different from the last, I forgot what iteration that was, when they had the five stripes on the spike. There's some Nako online mods in there, full beach. There's some splices in there. Oh, there's a Gallagher mod. But amazing to see. And that these kids will be honing in on real kendamas. In the past, like, you know, a lot of people would just, in Japan, you could see a lot of like just thrashed Ozoras, which are totally fine, totally work. Do the job of just sitting on the big cup, smashing Moshikame for hours and hours on end, then a few pull-up spikes. But here, they're real Damas that you're going to be playing with. Is there going to be a surge in like 10 years, 7 years of some new kids that are just like, whoa, I loved kendama because I was like lacing tricks. Okay. The blue ones are, there you go, SKF. What was that? Sakura Kendama Fiasco Class Dama? I forgot. But I was like, oh man, probably people will be like, look at all the, come on. They got like pro mods for sweets in there. You got, what was that? You got the, like words are not coming to my mind. Reed Stark. You got a few Reed Starks in there too. People be like, man, let me get that off you. I was like, the one time I was doing like a film sesh here in Japan with a TV program talking about kendama and stuff. And they brought a few kendamas and they had a pink Mugen. It was seshed, but still, they just had a pink Mugen. They're just like, all right, here's the kendamas we had in our facilities and shit. They're just taking it out of a box, putting it on the table. And I'm just watching them. I'm just like, oh, I'm like, look at that one. They're like, what? I'm like, I wish I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have been like, no. But I was like, this one, guys. I'm like, you could probably, like, this is really, really hot right now. Like, old rarity kendama. That could be a kendama name, rarity kendama. They didn't know about it. I let them know. And they're like, ooh. I was like, yeah, you better ooh on that one. Like, you better, somebody take that home and treat it nicely. I can move my, yeah. Sweets Kendama's Foundation Dama. There you go. That makes sense. What else? We only have a few more posts. Really quickly, wanted to shout out, of course, Grain Theory. You know, always the coolest stuff. Coolest experience that Weens makes for all us kendama players. This was a dope-ass poster that was released for, what was it, the last Battle at the Border that happened last year? First one in person out of the pandemic, and it was when they released the TO mod, the TOTC, and that's when he used that, like, the imagery of him with those, like, bifocal, those testing lens when you go to the optometrist. Is that what it's called? And you get your eyes tested, and you got that really dope picture. Yeah. And that was a poster, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. It says kendama's a shit. I mean, you can't read it technically, so it's totally cool to wear that stuff to, like, church. Because no one's going to put it together. So it's really dope to see it come out as a t-shirt. Kendama's a shit. That's so cool. We're waiting for other types of that style. That was a cool merch that I saw. Wanted to shout out. Another one. Hey, yo, Ken Dogma is official. They didn't pay for their check, but, you know, just their account name is Ken Dogma official. Hey, they did a little live, like 12 minutes, just talking about this new Anubis shape that they have out, the shape, who the designer is and stuff. So if anyone has been interested in learning more about kendama, hopefully you're following and you saw this one. It's not too long, like 12 minutes or something like that. So go check it out if you want to learn a little bit more about kendama and what their shape, this new Anubis shape is about. Big hard edges, big cups. Check it. Okay. There is, hey, another one. So YouTube, right? Elko's been killing it, releasing a lot of new kendama unboxings and stuff. Another one who's going in is Lotus, Isaac from Lotus Kendama. He just released an hour and a half, two and a half hours of chatting with Saitama, future Saitama, Nick Gallagher, about many different things. How he's been living in Japan, his top players in the game, a little controversy that I caught on film and everyone saw in person, Catch and Flow last year. Go check it out. It's a nice deep dive, 2 hours. And I think Isaac actually has created a podcast as well. So you can listen to audio only versions, 2.5 hours. That's a pretty deep sit down sesh. So yeah, check it out. Go to your podcasts. I'm not sure what he's called it. It's probably just Lotus Kendama. Or what is it called? Hold on. Let me just go quickly to check for everyone. Because I think he released, maybe it was just a story. It could have been like chatting with Isaac or something. But I'm sure if you just type in Lotus Kendama, you might be able to find it. Okay. So what happened was that Takuya probably should have won one round against little Shinosuke, who went on to be the champion and win the whole thing. Yeah. So you can watch the whole thing yourself. Go to the Kendertainment YouTube channel. It's there. It's, I think, maybe right before semifinals. Maybe it's just not listed as semifinals. But Takuya versus Shinosuke, you can see it. And I remember specifically like turning off the camera and like finishing up and like looking at everyone who was sitting right off to the side, and everyone's just like, I don't know. I mean, it was split down the middle, out of the 5 judges, it was 3 versus 2. And we were all like, I don't know. And then Tio was straight up. He's like, yo, that would never have happened. He's like, Taki would have taken that if we were in Europe. We were like, yeah. But hey, it is what it is. There can be discrepancies between the judges and the audience, what we all think, who the winner should be. But at the end of the day, we can't say anything. We're not the judges. So all we're doing is being complainers, pretty much. I know, yeah, but that's the way the ball rolls. Can we make our own phrase like that? That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the ball rolls. What else? There was one other one. Hey, I wanted to shout out events that are happening. Of course, Sakura Classic is happening in Japan this weekend. Sadly, I will not be able to go, but there are other things that are happening around you, hopefully, so check them out. SoCal Kendama is having one, and they just released a bunch of videos on their Instagram account so you can see exactly what the tricks are like. Weens released on Sakura Classic what type of tricks, what are the motions, because there could be a lot of people being like, what? You're just reading the text of the trick and be like, what the hell's that? What's a cold pizza? What's a fun house? Fun house flip? So is that like you flip like the Ken flips, or what is actually flipping? So go over, watch them shits, and then you'll be able to understand it a lot more. Another one was Crew Dama is happening as well. That's over in Canada, I believe. What was it? Ontario? Yes. Crew Dama is happening. You can check it out. Their first event was held, just last year? Yeah, second one, coming up April. They have a few, maybe if you're following like Rage Crit and stuff, you may be seeing some posts of them being supporters and stuff. So, hey, if anyone out there who are loons out there, are beavers, I don't know what else to call the Canucks. We love them. As long as they pay high shipping costs, we love them. Look how short that string is. But no, Dama is here. There's the event. Go check it out. Hey, if you're living in the area, maybe you want to cross the border, hang out with the Canadian homies, do it. Highly recommended. Bam. And I believe, let me go back to my saved posts. I believe that's it. We're going to go into Q&A unless I go back and I see something else. Zap got through all of them. That's it. Buds. So who should call them? The Canadians? They're just buds. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. We're going into Q&A time. Q&A time. If you got a question, hit up that question tool and ask me about something. First one coming in from Nathan. Did you buy the sweets? No, I didn't. Just because I believe I could just fashion one myself. Just make it. Because, and as I'm complaining about people complaining about, shipping, yeah, international shipping, it's a real deal. I understand it. But when it's something that I can make on my own, maybe I just make it on my own. Because what is it, $30 for the pre-order, whatever, for the Dama itself, and then it's usually like $40 international shipping. If I make it, do I want to? Would it be fun to get it? Yeah, it would be fun. But could I make it and possibly be around the same thing? Yeah, I think so. Is there a Ken shape or paint from J-Bugs? Is there a Ken shape or paint you always wanted to try but never had the chance? I think kendama paint, that Rev Clear, I haven't tried. The Rhinos Clear from Israel Kendama, I have tried, but I don't have one for myself, so I've never seshed it. But I mean, all the new paints, like Adrian's Easy Clear. What'd you call it, Adrian? Is it called Easy Clear? Like Easy Pass over in the East Coast? Is one. The brick is another one. I'm guessing that they play very similar to how hand paints were back in the day, like when a lot of different types of people were trying to, jump on the Sour Mash game. There was Cook's Customs that was creating some stuff. There was Gur out there painting a lot of Tamas and making this like tacky. And we all called it tacky because like you would touch it and be like, it felt like there was like a residue like gonna be stuck to your fingers after you touched it. And sometimes there was, and for the good ones, there wasn't. So there's different types out there. And I'm guessing it's like that, but maybe a step up from that, especially with the Adrian, the Claire. We got to add like some European steez to that. To the sound of that, the architect, the Clarier. Yeah, Nick is another one. There you go. Yeah. Oh, that's Gur, right? Oh, wait, no. Who's Gur? Any case, Adrian knows. So Adrian's OG. So I'm not sure. Maybe his clears, he touched that tacky stuff. He knows what it's like. He knows how to improve it. Maybe not knows how to prove it. Maybe now, Adrian, you've been grinding for a while on this clear. I remember deep ago talking about it. So that'd be, definitely one. Ken shapes? The one that I really want to try is Winner Kendama from China. Kendama China, Winner. I think that's the only one that it's like really like, every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, All right. Next question from Brett. What's the best April Fool's joke you've ever pulled? Okay, so if you're in the office, spend a lot of time in the office, since my first times coming to Japan, first years, and me and a few of the other Westerners are like, hey, April Fool's time, let's do something. There's a few good ones that we've learned about just by searching on the internet. One was just like messing with people's computers. So one simple thing you can do is you get a Post-it note and put it on the bottom of their computer mouse. So when they they go out for lunch and they come back and then they can't move the shit. What's wrong? Maybe it takes them a while to just turn the mouse over to see. Another one was if people had mouses that were connected by cable and computers are close to each other, like cubicles or something, maybe not cubicles, where you're connected at a table, you just switch people's mouse and keyboards to different computers, to different PCs. So then it's really weird for everyone to try to get work done. Doesn't happen. And another one was I forgot what it was, but on Windows computer, there is a command. There's like a hotkey command that you can push that flips, does a 180 on the monitor, and it flips completely upside down. Now, the other thing, not only is that really awkward, but it really screws with them because the picture's upside down, but now the controls are actually upside down too. So if you're moving the mouse, you pull it down, shit's going to go up. You move it to the left, it's going to go right. And that was a pretty good one because many of the people that I saw struggling to try to even just to go to like the settings option on the computer was hilarious. That was a good one. So they're all right. Nothing too ridiculous. But you got to be careful of who you prank sometimes. Next one from Throws. Can I please get advice on going from 1 to 2 juggles or more? I can't get the timing down. I catch the second Ken flip, but the Tama drops too fast. Any advice would be very helpful. 1 to 2 or more juggles. I mean, just a single juggle, I think, for many people is really weird to get. A lot of people, me and the crew used to make fun of Sue so much because he would like spaz out, like trying to move so quickly from like Ken to Tama. Like it would just be so funny just to see him like just juggle, like he's touching hot coals or something. For me, I always had an issue at the beginning with flipping the Ken too much, and I would always do a 1.5 when I didn't want to, of course. But dude, have a string longer than 3 fingers, okay? Practice, just getting the muscle memory down of juggling. Dude, go out, get some hacky sacks, steal some from your local hippies, go out, look on Amazon for actual juggling balls that are weighted with sand. Those work really well. And go out to the supermarket and grab some oranges and just juggle back and forth. Left, right. You could try, maybe you want to test out, see if you're a Norks juggler that does over in front of another like that instead of left and right. He goes over, which is really interesting, but it always works for him. So if it works for you, maybe that's something to test out, see if it's weird, or maybe you're like, hey, I actually got this more. But test out without the kendama first. Just juggle. Get that motion down. Understand when you toss up, when you catch. And there's probably a lot of other people who are like, yeah, exactly. 2 tamas. There you go. Lotus has great, juggling tutorial out there. I'm not proficient at juggling, so I'm probably not the best one. Definitely not the best one to ask. So go out there, look YouTube. Lotus has a video out there. I'm sure all the other suites, Chrome probably has a video out there, but I would definitely say without the kendama, just figure out the motion of getting multiple juggles with something. And then once you have that down, that should really help you get used to moving on to using a Ken for juggling. I know Sulab, when he had his shop, he had juggling balls that were just in the shop. So people who were learning how to juggle more, he's like, here, use these. Yeah, that's true. So then go do stringless. If it's weird, you're used to two tamas juggling, but then once the Ken's in there, it feels awkward. You have to focus more on the Ken flips and stuff. So then just cut the string and then go stringless. And I would say just mess with the timing or the amount of muscle you put into throwing the tama. Probably the tama would be the one to throw the tama, give it extra height so you can flip the Ken, or when it's coming back down is when you flip. I think that might be the key to a lot of people are just like, just go. But if you wait just a half a second for the tama to come back down to you, especially if you throw it really high up, then hopefully that can give you a better motion, better catch to go for a second. Maybe. Boston again. Have you heard of burl subculture? The burl? Is that like a surfing lingo? lingo? I don't know about the burl. There's something about like burls in like a Mastodon song. So I'll go look it up. Adrian, oh, can I send a clear Tama to you? Yeah? Hey, just hit it to me when we're catching this World Cup. Drop it out of the plane when you're passing by. But dude, that would be great shits. I would love to test out some of that stuff. Cause yeah, even with me like not going to jams regularly anymore, you know, I know a few people like Monty has some of your cleared stuff. So I've seen it. It looks like almost sandpapery. There's no gloss to it. It looks like pretty matte. And almost like there's a texture to it. So I'm very interested. That'd be dope. No pressure though, bro. Starry-eyed Stacy, do your littles ever play kendama? Yeah, they do. Let's see. My little list doesn't. He'll grab it and he'll know like, oh, spike. He'll just put it on. Like I'll hold the spike. He'll hold the Tama. And then he'll like look at it, check it out. Like, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. He's like 2. And then my other 2 who are older, I got 7 and 5. 7 is getting good. Oh, 5 is actually getting really good too. She just the other day, she pulled up a big cup first tee. She's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. That happens. And then the 7-year-old, yeah, she's getting better. She's doing spikes, got the spin down, pulling up spikes, going for big cups. Most kame is still a little bit of a difficult thing, but just the stoke from having them just pull up, bam, getting on that spike. You can see the progress of just understanding after practicing a lot, and I'm sure everyone understands, and if you ever taught anybody, the whole importance of not just using your knees, but the pull, the yank, how hard you have to pull it. You want it to just like come right at the same level of your arm, so it just sits on there like a little baby, like a baby perch. Just like if you're going for bird. It's dope. But yes, you do got to watch out for what they're playing, because they do the swing sometimes, maybe. Usually my kids I feel they haven't done that so much. Because one, right away I'm like, don't do that. You're going to crack yourself in the face. It's going to hurt. And probably because they just see me a lot play. So they kind of get like, oh, okay, I'm like, just up and down. Just up and down. They play full size. I do have a Sweets Mini that they were using. But, cups are small. That's why, like, these minis, maybe now the minis, this is an old school one. But the newer minis, I'm sure they're a lot more playable, bigger cups, so maybe that could work. But I feel like my Damas especially are fairly on the small size, 2014-ish. But still, even bigger ones, no problem. They got the muscle mass. I think that's it. And then we just got another one from, Nathan talking about April Fool's Dama stuff. If I got one, I did not. But yep, there we go. There's our questions. Thanks everyone for hanging out for another weekly Dama News. Thanks for the questions. Good chat and good little interaction that we have with everyone here. Always at the end of our weekly Dama News. Thanks as always for hanging out. If you're jumping in just now, missed it, you're like, oh, so what? It's finished? Yay! I'm here every Sunday doing sessions like this with everyone, going through the news, Q&A. So hang out next week. If you would like to watch this later on, we'll be posting it up on YouTube. It's a full video, then also as a podcast, so you can just put me in your ears and hang out with me and listen to me complain about people complaining about complainers. If you'd like, share this with your friends. Let other people know about the Dama, the weekly Dama News. Tell them, jump in on the news and hang out. You can also let them know, follow the account. Check out the YouTube channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers on the KDTM YouTube. Gonna try to put in some new videos out there soon. I have a lot, again, I've more than enough sitting on the back burner. Actually enough that Amazon dude just dropped off my new external hard drive that I need, because I got a lot of gigs that I had to move over so I can make space to edit more shits. But hey, you want to go far and above? Patreon is something that I got going. Trying to do a little more thinking about how I can move forward with this. kendertainment, all that stuff. But I got Patreon. There's a lot of people who are supporting me. Thank everyone who is supporting me for such a long time, has a lot of faith in me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I've been super slow, snail-paced. Whoever the reverse of Sonic is, that's who I am with getting content out. But we got stuff going. I've been little by little digging, I'm trying to make a mine shaft with a spoon on the next Dama Nerds episode. But it's coming. And thank you everyone who supports. Go over, check it out if you're interested. That's it. That's it. We'll see you again on the next one next week. Keep it clean.